Okay, I want you to just try and picture this scene. It's the absolute low point from the sources you sent over.
Right.
It's 3:15 in the morning. A man is literally crawling across his bedroom floor. He's naked, skeletal. He's lost 50 pounds.
And he's screaming into the 911 phone.
Screaming, shouting at the dispatcher, demanding a blanket and water because he is absolutely convinced his entire body is, and this is a quote, gonna blow at pee.
That man is Aaron Kennard.
Uh-huh.
And he was in such explosive, debilitating pain. He said later it felt like he was being torn in half. He genuinely believed he was dying right there on the floor.
His wife rushes in, sees this agonizing spectacle, and yet somehow, even as he's being rushed away in an ambulance, terrified he'll never see his family again, he holds on to this one core belief.
An astonishing belief, really.
And that belief, which is, the center of our deep dive today, was this is a truly amazing life.
That's the paradox, isn't it? He's on the verge of death. His internal organs perforated. The pain is so bad he can't even stand up. But he will not, under any circumstances, admit that the day is bad.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack this incredible, excruciating journey of his.
His whole descent into chronic illness, the emergency surgery, the family trauma that came after.
And we're going to try and extract the practical secret. How did he maintain that belief? Then, maybe more importantly, how did that belief actually lead to his radical recovery? Both, physically and emotionally.
Right. How do you choose gratitude when your body has completely betrayed you?
Exactly. Let's start at the beginning with the foundation of this philosophy.
Okay, so to really get his reaction during the crisis, we have to look at the framework he built before all this happened, before 2012.
Right.
Kennard's whole idea is that joy is our natural state, but pain is, well, it's essential. It provides the contrast you need. You can't appreciate the light without the shadow.
And he pulls out that great line from The Princess Bride.
He does. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
I love that he grounds it in something realistic like that. It's not just some kind of, baseless optimism.
No, not at all. And the real aha moment for him came from something surprisingly minor. He had this annoying sore throat for 3 weeks. 2 different doctors couldn't figure it out.
So he's just frustrated.
He's frustrated, yeah. But then this idea just pops into his head. What if? What if he used the pain as a reminder?
A trigger.
A trigger, exactly, like a little meditation bell. But instead of a bell, it's a jolt of pain. And every time it happens, he has to express gratitude.
So every time he swallows and feels that pain, instead of complaining, he uses it as a tool. What was the immediate effect?
The very first time he tried it, he forced himself to list, 5 or 10 things he was grateful for. And he felt this immediate, palpable lift in his emotions.
Even though the pain was still there.
The physical pain hadn't changed at all, but his experience of it had. The next time he swallowed, he wasn't just grateful despite the pain. He actually felt grateful for the sore throat itself.
Because it was serving this new positive purpose.
Exactly. And that's the moment he really learned, that his happiness was not dictated by his circumstances.
That's a huge realization.
It's everything. It led to his mantra, stop settling and start living. He decided that settling for a life that's just good is a tragedy when it has the potential to be amazing.
But that whole theory was about to get tested in the most brutal way imaginable.
And the test came fast and hard. July 2012, his daughter Kelsey is born. It's a high-stress breech birth, and he described that stress as a tiny spark that just ignited a bundle of dynamite inside him.
The physical collapse was.
Okay.
It was rapid.
Incredibly rapid. He went from being this super high-energy guy who could run a 4.37 mile
Wow.
to noticing a small burning sensation that quickly became this incapacitating pain in his backside.
To the point where he couldn't sit. He was at a standing desk. Then he was just bedridden.
And his only relief was a hot bathtub. He called it my tub, my temporary solace.
And the medical journey at the start was so frustrating, right? They misdiagnosed him.
Completely. First hemorrhoids, then an anal fissure. They gave him creams, told him to eat more fiber. He did everything they said meticulously.
The sources say he spent up to 3 hours a day just performing and analyzing his bowel movements, desperate for a sign of hope.
But everything just got worse. And this is where his mindset was so crucial. It would be so easy to fall into that why me trap.
Of course, why me? Why now?
But he consciously chose a different internal monologue. He kept affirming, this will be for my good and give me experience. He was adamant that no amount of physical pain could make him decide that his day was bad.
But was that really holding up when he was on the floor screaming into the 911 phone?
Well, I think that's the key. It wasn't a magic wand. It was a mental muscle he'd been building for months. It allowed him to anchor himself in the idea of a future benefit, even in the middle of the present agony.
Holding onto the pilot light while the house is burning down.
That's a great way to put it. But the physical decline just kept going. His weight plummeted from 178 pounds.
And then came the colonoscopy prep. He describes the saltwater enemas leading to involuntary screams of agony. Just horrific.
And that's when he finally got the diagnosis. Chronic incurable ulcerative colitis, UC.
And for anyone listening who might not know, that's a chronic inflammatory bowel disease. It creates these long-lasting ulcers in your digestive tract. It's just awful.
Painful, exhausting, debilitating. The only relief he got was from a steroid, prednisone, which stopped the bleeding for a little while and gave him what he called a pathway out of the pain.
But it was only temporary. He tried this very strict diet, the SED diet, but his body just kept deteriorating.
Yes. The bleeding came back, but worse. He was passing huge blood clots, and he had this terrifying realization, I was dying.
Which brings us back to where we started, the 911 call, the second trip to the ER. Emergency room 2.0, he calls it.
And the doctor there actually tried to send him home.
Unbelievable. He had to refuse. He just demanded help. He said, I'm not going home until someone figures out how to help me. If you send me home, you're sending me off to die.
And that moment saved his life. His insistence forced them to do a CT scan.
Which revealed the perforated colon.
And led to immediate emergency surgery. They had to remove nearly his entire colon.
Leaving him with a permanent ostomy bag.
Right. And for clarity, that's a pouch he wears on the outside of his body to collect waste. A huge life-altering change.
So the surgery fixes the immediate physical crisis, but this is where the sources get really clear. The real atomic bomb was about to go off.
The emotional crisis.
Yes. This part of the story is just gut-wrenching. 2 days after the surgery, he's in the hospital, weak on heavy pain meds. And he tries to discipline his son, Abe, who's already traumatized from watching his dad just wither away for months.
And in this moment of just total exhaustion and despair, Kennard threatens him. He says, if you don't want to live by the rules, we'll just put you up for adoption.
He regretted it instantly. It triggered this wave of self-loathing that was so intense it made him physically ill, vomiting, cramps.
He said he just wished for extinction. But the damage to his son was profound. Abe just spiraled. He told his mom he wished he would stay in the hospital longer because you were mean and angry.
Oh, that's just heartbreaking.
It is. And his wife, Nan, she really captured the truth of it in an email to him. She said, look, the surgery removed the physical problem, but the emotional battle. That was the real hell.
She told him, we are in hell too, and that his recovery had to be about repairing that emotional damage, which was so much harder than healing from the incision.
It just shows you how deeply connected it all is.
Yeah.
His physical agony created emotional poison, which then fractured the family.
So after all this, he's desperate. He's down to 131 pounds, a skeleton, the drugs aren't working, his body is still a mess.
And the hospital doctors are adamant. They're telling him, trust me, it doesn't matter at all what you eat.
Which is just wild in retrospect.
It really is. And it shows the limits of that traditional approach. The real turning point came when he went outside that system to see a functional medicine doctor, a Dr. Lundell.
Had to pay out of pocket for it.
He did. And Lundell gave him the hard truth. He said, no, the UC was not cured by the surgery. The root cause was a combination of chronic stress and, crucially, diet.
Lundell basically gave him a list of poison.
That's the word he used. Sugar is poison. Kennard had to eliminate it completely, along with all wheat, gluten, dairy, and even nightshade vegetables like tomatoes and peppers. Only organic, high-quality foods.
And this is where it gets so interesting. He'd tried a restrictive diet before surgery, and it failed.
Right. But after following Lundell's protocol post-surgery, the change was, it was miraculous.
The bloating, the cramping, the pain, the toxic burps he described.
All of it. Gone. Overnight.
So the takeaway isn't just diet matters, it's that the body has to be structurally stable first.
Exactly. His body was too compromised before. His early attempts were, like, as he put it, trying to dam up a rushing river with a couple sandbags. The surgery provided the dam, and the diet stopped the flood.
And once he was physically healing, the emotional healing with his son Abe could finally begin.
He was almost immediate. Abe's depression, his instability. It only started to lift when Kennard was healthy enough to be a strong father again, to set firm, consistent limits.
He tells that story about Abe running toward traffic, and he just yells, Abraham, get back here right now.
That firmness, that unwavering presence, that's what his son needed. He needed his anchor back.
The recovery numbers are just incredible. From barely walking at 130 pounds, not able to do one pull-up,
To running again, a 17-minute-mile loop, which, is a long way from 4.37, but he chose to see his 35-pound weight loss as a future advantage for his running.
and the ostomy bag, he didn't see it as a tragedy.
Not at all. He reframed it. He saw it as a wonderful, constant reminder of how precious life is,
It all comes back to that core belief.
that everything is conspiring for my benefit. That single choice, he argues, is like an unquenchable spark deep inside you, a pilot light that never goes out. It lets you turn any adversity into a benefit.
To become wiser, more compassionate.
Exactly. He took something physically devastating and turned it into an asset for his emotional and spiritual growth.
So, after going through all this, what does this journey mean for you, the listener? To me, it's this literal case study on the staggering power of your thought habits.
And that non-negotiable link between your diet and your emotional stability, but also the sequence of recovery, right?
Yes. Mindset for survival, medical help for stabilization, and then lifestyle changes for lasting health.
And that brings us to the author Kennard himself points to as his proof of concept, Viktor Frankl.
Man's search for meaning.
Right. A book that shows how Frankl found purpose and even joy while suffering unimaginable torture in a Nazi concentration camp.
So that's the final provocative thought we want to leave you with.
If joy and purpose can be a conscious choice for a person in the absolute worst circumstances imaginable,
Then what small truth are you maybe refusing to believe right now about your diet or your habits or your own potential?
what's that one thing that could be preventing you from choosing radical happiness? What's the excuse you're unknowingly making that keeps you settling for just good instead of reaching for amazing?
Think about the power in those choices, in those thought habits.
And start looking for the benefit, the advantage, in whatever challenge you're facing today.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.